traditionally speaking, the best 6-box group is a tank, probably warrior for defensive if you're going to be doing type of raid content. But if you have the best gear in game, I've seen Shadow Knights and stuff work for this. But basically tank, cleric, bard for resist and regen, shaman for buffs and slows, and then 2 monks. And those can be replaced with berserkers. You could attempt to use rogues, but pretty much the best group, assuming that you can get the gear, and it's because they have sustain and they're not running out of mana on long fights. So that 6-box would allow you to prolong a fight against a raid boss and make it the whole distance. So this video is going to be about the best solo to 6-box setup on a fresh TLP, meaning that you're not going to use any assistance, sell any chronos. So if you're only going to be playing one class, then what you're going to want to do is look at the soloing classes in here, and you do have some options. So people will do like a druid, shadow knight, maybe like a necromancer. But as far as soloing, playing by yourself, mage is going to win hands down. So your first character and best character for soloing is going to be mage. If you like to play with other people, you could make some of the other classes or whatnot. But the first character in this solo group is going to be a mage. And the best solo class to pick is going to be mage, especially on a fresh TLP, because the pets will be able to tank and do damage for you. And you can stand back and nuke. So we'll just call this guy Mage 1. And you could pick whatever race you want. So best solo, made a mage. So then when it comes down to the best 2-box combo, traditionally speaking, Shadow Knight and Shaman is the best 2-box combo pretty much in the game for a very, very long time, if it's ever beaten at all. I don't know that it actually is. So what kind of 2-box options do we have on TLP with a fresh start? We got no money, no platinum, nothing like that, no items to pass down. And let's assume that we took the best solo class, we made a mage. So you might be thinking, hey, something to maybe heal the mage's pet might do well. Then we're looking at, a shaman. It's got some buffs and slows that might actually make the mage pet tank better. You got a druid that can kind of heal. And then you have cleric, which is the ultimate healer and HP buffer. So you're probably thinking like, hey, if I got mage as my first character, then I probably should make a cleric or a healer to go with that mage. And normally you'd be right. So let's say we have a second account up, we're going to make a second character, and we're just going to go ahead and, we can look at some of the healers in here. Cleric is a good choice. Some people play like Enchanter, but we're just going to go ahead and make a mage, because I feel like mage is probably the best 2-box combo in the game. So we'll just call this mage 2, and we'll see if it just takes that. Oh, someone already got mage 2, so someone already came up with this plan. So right now we're at 2-box combo, and the second character, best 2-box combo is so far is mage. So I have 2 mages. We can talk about all the different 2-box combos, but if you have a mage, got double nukes, you have double pets. So like if one pet dies and it's tanking, you can literally just summon another pet, and it will keep tanking. So you could just alternate like pet summons, and you'd always have a tank. So there's not really a true need to actually have a healer. And then you don't have to worry so much about gear. You can create a lot of items for your pet. If you have crappy gear on your magician, you can kind of just sit back and meditate while your pets do all the work. AFK, sit and eat some snacks or something like that. I like to, get a little bit of protein in, so I like eat these peanuts here. Plus, while the mages are doing all the work, you don't really need to pay attention. Kind of eat them at leisure and just kind of watch like you're watching a movie, Don't really have to do much when you have the mages like that. But now on to the 3-box, like the best 3-box combo. You're thinking, hey, we got mage. What are some of the traditional ones? If you were to actually start on a new TLP with the money, you would probably have like an SK, shaman, and then maybe you'd add a bard or some type of DPS. I've seen people, do like the mage, enchanter, wizard. Some people use like the enchanter charm to actually like tank stuff or do a lot of the DPS. And then you have the cleric for resurrections and buffs. But then you also have the mage pet to keep tanking the mobs that you were fighting with the enchanter pet if it ever breaks. So we're in the 3-box here. Take a look. We could go and make a traditional group. Could add an enchanter to the 2 mage group we have, or maybe it's time to get a cleric. Traditional, tank, healer, slower, some type of mana regen or CC, which is bard, enchanter, and 2 DPS. So we already got the 2 DPS. So logically, you're thinking we're going to add one of the other 4 roles. But for this instance, I'm just going to add another mage. So we'll call this one mage 3. One probably already got this done too. But so for the best 3-box combo, I'll already try that one. Hold on, mage 3 with just 1E. Okay. So for the third pick, best 3-box combo right now, I have mage. Not traditional, but then do you really need a healer? Do you really need extra in CC? You really need enchanter, charm, DPS when you got 3 pets. So one pet dies, you put it back in play. You got 3 different types of pets. You got air pet for stun. You got like an earth pet to tank. Plus, if you're researching these pets, when you get to the research level, you can make the same pet for each. They're the same classes. You can pass gear around. You can do the same type of research, get the same type of pets. So third class definitely is going to be a mage. So we've got 3 mages so far. And think about maybe moving to like a 4-box here, now would be a good time to get a cleric. You could put a tank in, because what you're really going to be doing with the 3 mages is pretty much power leveling yourself. Whatever you add to this group is just going to kind of follow along and maybe provide some support. That's a good spot for a bard, a shaman, classes that you really want. And I think originally I recommended when you do actually do a 6-box, you just start with the 3 mages and put 3 characters in that you want. That could be like the druid for the ports, the wizards for ports, and a little bit of damage. Plane of hate's gonna be a big thing. You don't want to be always finding someone to port you up if you've already used your DZ. So a wizard could be good. That you get your cleric, your tank, and just kind of pull them along with you. Put them on fall on one of the mages, and then you could level them up that way. And then what you could do is you go back and replace the mages eventually, because eventually you will have to replace the mages because mages become useless. Having said all that, what class will we pick if we're going to do a 4-box? And if we stick with, we still get a cleric, rogue, wizard is here for sure. The SK looks really, really inviting. Necromancer, I mean, why not throw maybe just for shits and giggles, like just a 4th pet class into it, So we got 3 mages. I think the best 4-box combo, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to make another mage. So we'll just call this one Mage 4. And I bet you someone's got this name already. Yep, Mage 4. Okay. Now we got 4 mages, and you're thinking like you don't really like mages, maybe you don't want to play mages, but really what we're trying to do is we're trying to race to 50, make a bunch of classes. You could take these mages when they're max level and have them farm individual spawns. You could have like 4 mages now, each one at individual spawn point, farming items to sell, whether you're farming some spire silks or some type of fine steel weapons or just camping some item. Pretty much you have limitless options with 4 mages. And now 4 mages, 4 pets, same research, same gear. So when you just camp items, you can just kind of rotate around. Imagine 4 level 50 mages sitting on spawns. You could put 2 at each spawn for maybe like a hard area in the game. I mean, just so many options. And imagine when you get level 55 and you get Call of the Hero, you could actually make like a Call of the Hero service. Like just start parking your mages in random spots and just willing to Call of the Hero groups out at a time. Create food for people. You could be like a modern day like Jesus, walking around creating items out of thin air and just providing food and water for all the people that are out in the field. I mean, just think of the possibilities with having that 4th mage, because honestly the other 3 that you got, I mean, that's pretty much good. So let's move on to 5-box now, because I know that 5-box you're probably thinking we'll get into something. So traditionally tank, healer, slower DC, that's the enchanter, shaman. Bard is always good for melee DPS and resist and travel speed, and then usually 2 DPS, but you could do 3 DPS. We could go ahead and recreate the whole group right now for the best 5-box. Now would be a really good time. I mean, a really good time if we took the 4 mages we already have, just kept with it, to go ahead and add that cleric in there. One of the mages might die, and cleric would be able to resurrect it at least, even if you're just kind of pulling around. But honestly, I think if a mage dies, probably just make another one, right? I mean, just leave the corpse there and just, yeah. So for the 5th character, I think we're just going to go with mage. So mage 5, put 2 E's, 5E. Okay, because I know someone probably picked mage 5 because someone's probably already on this strategy. So 5th selection, mage 5. So we got 5 mages. I don't even know if you need the boxing more characters. That's 5 pets, 5 of the same research. Like, I mean, it's so easy. Like, think about gearing them out. Like, you just buy 5 of every item, the same thing. And now not only could you create food for just like individual people in the field, you could actually place like little Jesus mages all over the world map and just start creating food and water for people, and just feeding the hungry. Just the things that you could do, you could really make a big difference, like a big impact in the Everquest environment. And that's really what this game is about. I hear so many people really, really angry with people that are boxing. Like, oh my goodness, you're ruining the game. I hate boxers, blah, 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 blah. You only play it by yourself. And I've said to them, like, hey, boxers box because they don't want to play with other people, but I feel like boxing and paying for the 6 accounts and being told that we can't and shouldn't box, I feel like although we're already paying 6 times as much as a person playing for 1 so that they can keep these servers alive, I feel like boxers need to go like a step further. We should really be giving back to the community and show people that, hey, we actually care about you. Maybe we don't want to play with you, but we do care about you. You know what I'm saying? And I really think that one way we can really give back is with like, think of the mages creating items for people. Like maybe they want like a mana rod or something like that. If you were to have 5 mages and you max all their levels out and you farm all their stuff, you could put mages creating food, water, arrows, throwing items, or mana rods, just like a service, like park them outside Karnar's Castle when the Runes of Kunark expansion hits, and really just give back to the community and just let them know that we really deeply respect and care about their opinion. Nope, sorry that we maybe don't want to play with you and we just want a 6-box and be left alone. Sorry, we pay for 6 times the amount of counts that you do. So obviously, if you're playing solo, you should have more say than the boxers, honestly, because it's just 6 times. It's just money. It's just we're only paying 6 times the amount of money you are. So it really does make sense that because you're a real person and there may be 6 of you, that you guys should have more say than the one person that's paying the exact same amount of money as you. I mean, hands down. And that's why I think these mages like this could really give back, because even mages, you know, they get kind of like a bad reputation. It's kind of like frowned upon, I guess, to be boxing and have the mages because you kind of AFK play. Having said that, let's move on to 6-box. Like the best 6-box is, like I said, tank, healer, slower. So you're going to want to have a warrior, cleric, shaman. Then you could do 3 DPS. You could do a bard and 2 DPS. Probably want to stay with the melee. Like you always put the melee characters with a shaman if you're going to use an enchanter as like your CC and slow. Maybe you could do some casters, but honestly, let's just say that we got our 6 character. We got 5 mages already. So obviously a good choice here, cleric. One of the mages might die. Maybe we don't want to remake a mage and an AFK level. I mean, level it up the normal way. Maybe we don't want to do that. If we stick with this, wizard would help for ports, or that SK at some point would actually be a really good polar and tank, you know, because 5 pets. What if there's 6 mobs and we have 5 pets? So we can only tank 5 things at a time. What do you do with the 6th one? Obviously, a mage pet, you know, may not be able to handle that. Really want to be careful with that. We might actually want to get an SK here for those pulls, or even a necromancer could pull, but then that gives us a 6 pet. You know, when you come to think about it, I think for our 6th character, if we got 5 mages, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a mage. Yeah. So mage 6, 2 axes, just because. So we got 6 mage. And now really think about like this, how much you could give back to the community. You could set all these mages up. And if you really wanted to, you could just get rid of like the botting programs. Like you could do beyond like the Kiss Assist or MacroQuest, the vanilla portion of it, and just go straight MacroQuest so that people can walk up to your character and say, you know, send them a tell and say, hey, arrows or some keywords, and it would just generate and automatically trade with them. It'd be like you have your own NPCs spread across North. And it would be really epic, and we'd really be giving back to the people, and they would appreciate us boxers more, knowing that we can automatically give them things in game for free without being present at the keyboard. So 6 mages. I think that's the best 6-box. I think that's the best solo through 6-box. Because think about it, 6 times research, 6 times same items, 6 pets. How many pulls do you get that really have beyond 6 pets? I mean, that's all the CC you need. You don't need to heal your pets because you can just make another one. I can't think of what could actually go wrong until Mitigation of the Mighty, where the pets actually can't hold aggro. But then if you got, you know, some J boots or something like that, maybe you can just keep outrunning the summons or something like that. Who knows what that will lead to down the road. But this is a fresh start in the classic. Now, let's say you want to make an alt. And so here's mage 6 account, right? So here's a 6 mage. And maybe you're tired of being, maybe you didn't actually want to be a dark elf. Maybe you're like, hey, I want to make a human because it's the most generic like playing class ever, and sort of the models that are in here. And then you get a selection, you know, bards, clerics. So what would you make as an alt? And honestly, I think as your alt, since you've already like leveled to 50 with a mage, I think you just go ahead and make a mage. I mean, that makes sense, right? It's you pass all the gear from level 50 on to a new mage, and it's not evil anymore because it's a human. I think that's what. So this is be like mage alt. Like, how much better can that get? Now, let's say, I know some of you are like, hey, what if, and it's a big what if I don't actually want to play a mage? And that's fine. That's more fine. I get that not everybody wants to play a mage and not everybody wants to be the best they can be in game. You can be whatever you want to be, because it's really about how you feel on the inside. You know, all the external stuff doesn't really matter. So I have a mage, and that's just the frame. That's just what people see when they look at it. But this mage, me playing this mage, I might feel like a Shadow Knight. You know, it's what's on the inside that counts. So I mean, this name's probably taken, but I want people to know that I identify as a Shadow Knight. So even though, you know, I won't have, you know, the same parts, the same components as a Shadow Knight, I feel like I am a Shadow Knight. And just because of how I look or how I was created, can affect how I feel on the inside. Technically, it's mage, but I identify as a Shadow Knight. So that right there, that solves your problem of like, hey, I don't want to play a mage, I want to be a mage. You don't have to be. It's just a mage shell. You can identify as whatever you want. So this mage has transitioned and is now identifying as a Shadow Knight. So that is definitely an option. And I think that all of your alts on the other 5 accounts, probably just make mages and have them identify as how they feel, because it is really what's on the inside that counts, guys. That's all that matters. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this solo through 6-box fresh start on TLP video. If it wasn't a fresh start and maybe a little bit different, you might be able to use some of my other videos to see what you should make for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 box, those are hands down, I think, the top picks on a fresh TLP without any assistance, any start, any head start, and any other classes. And I think that alts should also be mages. We got P99, we got TLP, we got private servers and tests that's free. Some of us pay, some of us don't, some of us play, some of us won't. Did you just break my mess? Did you just train me? Did you just miss a healing? Are you gonna rest me? And please I need a sow, and please I need a rest. Please I need that sword, I'll take what you got.